Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently in the crystalline mine to start another one of the crafter role quests. Namely, the role quest for the Carpenter, Leatherworker and Weaver, which is just called crafting. Cherished memories.
Beep. Error. Ever blockage detected. Firm blow required. Bzz. Hit me. Hit me. Seek Tiuna. Must seek Tiuna. Bzz.
The Alaganesque note floats off. Perhaps you should keep an eye on it lest it cause harm to civilians. So, where is it? Over there.
Help me, Tiuna. Help me. Bzz.
Yes, greetings. Do you require something restored? Apparently not. At any rate, could you give me a moment? Nobody here is clamoring for attention.
Help me, Tiuna. Firm blow required. Hit me. Hit me.
Don't tell me you've gotten your ever blocked again. Ah, well, I'll take care of it. You need specialized knowledge to fix it? Oh, versed in such machines, are you? Well, I appreciate the advice, but rest assured I have the situation well in hand. This happens all the time.
Yeah. Beep. Your node has encountered a problem and needs to restart. Collecting error information and restarting. Bleep. Node restart complete. Logging in as Tiuna. Bzzz. More Tiuna. Hit me more.
You know, sometimes I think you actually enjoy this, and I still have no idea where you learned to speak like that. Now then, you were wanting something? I don't believe I've seen you before. I take it you're new to the crystarium? Kinda. Ah, I remember now. You're the master artisan who hails from the same land as the XIV. What was your name again? Desiree. Ah, that's right, Desiree. It's a pleasure to meet a fellow crafter from a faraway place. I'm Tiuna, a restorer of a facet of crafting and the proprietor of a cherished memories. For my work, I've had to train in a variety of trades, including as a leatherworker like yourself. Or a carpenter. Or a weaver. While there are restorers aside from me, my workshop specializes in artworks and traditional handicrafts. Items with sentimental rather than practical value, in other words. Given the state of the world, my choice of focus is frowned upon by some, but I knew it was what I wanted to do. And so I opened Cherished Memories with Noddy here as my assistant. Adorable, isn't it? It's actually a relic from the tower, but it had broken down. I couldn't bear to see it lying there discarded, so I restored it as best as I could. It's been with me ever since.
Bleep. Am I a good node?
Yes, you are. No one keeps records like you, Noddy. Now I realize we've scarcely met, but I'd like to propose a little business arrangement. You see, despite the work that I profess to do, I'm actually only any good at alchemy, my original field. There's still much that I have to learn, and I'm hoping I could learn from an accomplished leatherworker such as you. I don't ask that you teach me, only that you craft the materials I need. By using these materials in my work, I can own my techniques while getting the job done besides. Of course, I make sure you're suitably compensated. Moreover, every bit that I learn from you, I promise to pass on to my fellow crafters. That way, your knowledge may come to serve all the people of Northrend. So, what say you? Can I rely on you?
Tiuna is still a work in progress. Please knock her into shape. Bish bash bzzzt.
Okay. I'm in your debt. When you're ready to begin, please come and see me at the mean. Tiuna. My thanks for coming, Desiree. May our collaboration bear much fruit.
Here, here.
So, this is Cherished Memories. Well, it is when I'm here at any rate. I've neither the funds nor reputation of my own place, so I'm making use of the means facilities. Without further ado then, let's assign you your first task. Noddy, if you would be so kind.
Bleep. The item to be restored is a painting of Dempsole, a village in Lakeland destroyed by Sin Eaters approximately 90 years ago. The client is descended from the denizens of said village.
So, by restoring the painting, we aim to restore a vision of a village as it once was. With my knowledge of alchemy, I've been able to remove the stains, but the canvas itself is in an appalling condition. But the clients didn't go into detail. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was intentional damage. Now, like most paintings originating in Lakeland, this one uses a special canvas resistant to humidity. In order to restore it, we'll need the material to match. Can you prepare this for us? Thank you. Once the material is ready, I'll begin work on the restoration. Facet of Crafting. Crystarium deliveries unlocked. Crystarium deliveries commenced. Facet of Crafting are now available. By delivering the requested items to Tiuna and raising yourself in her esteem, you can advance the story of her struggling workshop. There's a lot to do when restoring a painting, but nothing so important as a canvas. Let me know when the repair material is ready. I need to craft 6 items. And you get experience and whatnot. And of course, scrap. Like in Stormblood, the item is under the special recipes under Crystarium deliveries this time instead of class quests. And you have a canvas repair materials you need to craft 6 of those. And unlike Stormblood, you need materials again. So I prepared some. At least for most of the items. Relatively easy. There's a lot to do when restoring a painting, but nothing so important as a canvas. Let me know when your repair materials are ready. 6 canvas repair materials in high quality. Thank you, Desiree. I was expecting quality from you, but this surpasses anything I could have imagined. I put it to good use. Tiuna's esteem for you has grown. Deliver the items Tiuna needs and learn more about her. Two days later. It's done. The painting is restored. Now I can finally get some sleep. Thanks to the quality of your material, the painting should prove doable in any climate. The beautiful colors and fine details will survive a long time. Now then, if you wait just a moment, I deliver it to the client. Oh, and I'll be sure to mention your contribution. Desiree, when I told our client about you, he insisted on coming to thank you personally. Mrs. Faltal. So you are Desiree. Thank you ever so much for helping to restore our painting. To others, it may be an unremarkable work of art, but to me and my family, it's an irreplaceable treasure, an heirloom from days gone by. Pretty short ears for an Ellison, right? I think that is an Ellison. Or an elf, as they are called here in the first. From the days when Lakeland was a domain of the elves. For generations, my family called it Damp Soul home. There we lived in peace and thrived thanks to the bounty of the source, surviving war and famine alike. But the Sin Eaters came and took everything from us. In memory of his beloved home and departed kin, my artist ancestor took brush to canvas. The result being the painting you've restored. For long years, we've looked after the painting, but in the heat of a quarrel with my brother, I'm ashamed to say I went and damaged it. As I was ruining my foolishness, I came to know about Tiuna and her workshop. Words fail to express how glad I am that I did. With a painting in hand, I will go to my brother and make amends with him. After all, he's the only family I've left in the world. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. You haven't only restored a painting, you've restored the bond between my brother and me. I didn't know the full story till now, but I'm glad it ends well. And it's in no small part due to you, Desiree. Oh, but to have family. Esteem level increased. Tiuna now considers you a supporter of cherished memories. Ah, Desiree, how good to see you. Give me just a moment to clean up. We're in the midst of analyzing the leftover bits of material you crafted.
Aside from record keeping, I also excel in analysis. Impressive, yes?
Because restoration draws upon techniques from multiple fields, it's important to understand how certain materials and chemicals react with one another. Over the years, I've handled my fair share of materials, and I can honestly say that yours are a cut above the rest. There's no greater proof than the superior final products they produce. I consider myself truly blessed to be able to learn from you. Still playing around with a floating rust ball, I see.
Blip. Visitor identified as Owell of the Facet of Crafting. Bzz. What is a rust ball?
Why don't you make yourself useful for a change? Make something useful? After all this time ignoring me, those are the only words you have? And we are not playing around, I have you know. We've served many clients already, and there's bound to be more folk out there who have cherished items I want to store. I simply don't know who to ask for help. What's more, we have a veteran artisan on board now, who prepares materials we need. Desiree here. Her skills are at least the equal of Master Harrick. Skills or no, it's nothing but a waste of precious resources. You do well to open your eyes to reality. It's all around you.
Bzz. What's a rust ball?
That was Owell. It might not seem so from that exchange, but we used to be close. We both lost our parents at a tender age, you see, and a man named Harrick took us in as his apprentices. Master Harrick was a restorer. It was he who inspired me to become one too. When I was little, I had a doll. It was a memento of my late mother, and I treasured it like life itself. But old as it was, one day it fell apart. Back then, we suffered from far worse shortages than we do now. Everyone at the means struggled to do their work with limited resources, and no one spared a glance for a broken toy. No one save Master Harrick. He found me crying alone, clutching my doll. No need for tears, he said kindly. And he took the doll and made it good as new again. There's more such items at the crystarium, Desiree. Items that serve no practical purpose, that won't help us survive, yet mean the world to someone. They wouldn't have found a place amongst the refugees' scant possessions otherwise. They're irreplaceable treasures, and I can't bear to watch them crumble away. As Master Harik mended my doll, so I would mend the ties of others. In many ways, you remind me of Master Harik. Not only are you capable, you are kind and dependable. It's a pleasure working with you, and I hope that our partnership continues for a long time. Yeah. Oh, and thanks to Faltal singing our praises, we're seeing more restoration requests. While most are straightforward enough for me to handle alone, I have a task here that promises to be quite challenging. For this, I hope to rely on your crafting expertise. Okay. The client is an elderly Dran lady. She's apparently descended from Verbertite nobility.
The item to be restored is an antique Verbertite jewel box, formerly occupying the land now known as Ilmek. The kingdom was destroyed by Sin Eaters following the flood.
Due to the fact that the nation ceased to exist a century ago, it's difficult to source the materials their people once used. In particular, we're struggling to procure suitable fabric for the upholstery, and that is what I would ask you to prepare. My thanks in advance, Desiree. Custom delivery commenced. How's that upholstery fabric coming along? Let me know when it's ready. Oh my, the quality is amazing. It could be considered a work of art in its own right. With this, I'm confident that we can do an excellent job with a jewelry box. Three days later. Girl, you need to sleep at some time. I could curl up right here and fall asleep. But first things first, I'm pleased to say the jewelry box has been restored to its former glory. I'm especially pleased with how the trimmings turned out. They're as beautiful, vibrant as the day they were made, and it's thanks to the quality of the materials you supplied. Now, when I see this delivered to our client, if you can linger a while, I'll return soon with word of her impressions. Desiree, this is Rosine, our client. She's so pleased with the jewelry box, she wanted to come and thank you herself. Tiuna tells me your contribution was instrumental in its restoration. For that, I offer you my heartfelt gratitude. My daughter, she will wed soon, you see. The jewelry box is to be my gift to her on her special day. Oh my, such joyous news! Our congratulations! With my husband no longer with us, life has been hard. There's nothing grand I can offer my daughter. Yet humble though it is, the box holds special meaning to our family. It's been with us since before my ancestors fled Verbert. While most of them sought refuge in Yulmore, my great-grandmother and her husband chose to begin anew at the Crystarium. The box came with her, laden with the memories of her lost home. It was passed down to my grandmother, then to my mother, and eventually to me. It's a treasured heirloom, our connection to a time long past, and we've taken care of it as best we could. Alas, the years inevitably began to tell on it. Now the time has come for me to pass the box to my daughter, but its condition was such that I was embarrassed to do so. Thanks to you and Tiuna, however, I can pass it on proudly. No words will suffice to express my gratitude. I'm forever in your debt. Such a special connection to have with your family and homeland. An orphan like me can only dream. I'd love to visit your homeland one day. Will you promise to take me there? Oh, I'm merely jesting. No need to look so troubled.
Bleep. I too have a homeland. Glory be to Allah. Long may she endure.
Tiuna now considers you a restorer of the cherished memories. And that's another one in the books. Whew. Tell me, Desiree, what do you think of the difference between repair and restoration? In my mind, the aim to repair is to make something work as intended again. In contrast, the aim of restoration is to return something to its original state. That being the case, in order to do a great job of restoring, it's crucial to know what materials were originally used and how. This requires a great deal of research and analysis. That is where Noddy has been most helpful.
Bleep. Noddy is a most helpful node.
Now, an item may bear what appear to be imperfections, be they scuffs, scratches, or peculiarities in the wood grain. While we may instinctively want to remove such marks, we must be mindful that they may hold special meaning to the owner. Of course, if there is clearly damage that impairs function, we must mend it as best we can. These decisions we make through consultation with the client. We see through his eyes the item as it once was, and then strive to recreate it. Now, it hardly needs saying, but a restoration effort can only be as good as the materials used. I hope that cherished memories can continue relying on you. You can. Thank you, Desiree. Right, enough chatter. It's time to get back to work.
Bleep. There are currently 3 outstanding tasks. Of these, 3 are urgent.
Time to get back to work indeed. You have time to assist me with another task, Desiree? Yeah? Wonderful. This time, the client is a Zun Amaro handler, and the item is a set of Amaro barding. A very old set. We have our work cut out for us. Before the flood swallowed up their homeland, the Zun lived as nomadic folk. Amaro were a central part of their lives, and even something commonplace like their barding may carry great sentimental value. That being the case, we must give no less than our best. Not that we ever do otherwise, of course. Now, as to the specifics, what I require from you is the material for repairing the barding's inner lining. As a part that is in contact with the Amaro, comfort is of the utmost import. My thanks in advance, Desiree. What do you think about Tiuna's assessment to the nature of restoration? And do you think it's an important skill to have? Or to have available in a society? Honestly, I'm wondering. It's certainly not a skill necessary for survival in that regard, but I think protecting the memories of people can be important in its own right for the mental health of people. And to know that it's there can be calming in itself. To simply behold the barding, one can sense the love the Zoom bear for the Amaro. We'll do at loft justice, you and I. Let me know when you have repair materials for me. Yeah. Goodness, but this is exemplary work. In this material alone, you can see all the marks of a first-rate artisan, and small wonder seeing as you made it. I will see to it my restoration lives up to its quality. Four days later. Mother? Is that you? Forget you heard any of that. It's done, Desiree. That was one of my hardest tasks to date, but the Amaro barding is restored. In the course of using your material, I noticed the little details. The techniques you employed to alleviate the burden of the beast. Such a thing would never have occurred to me. It reminds me how much I still have to learn. Now, we mustn't keep our client waiting. I'll be back soon. Seriously, she must be working through that. So, this has become something of a regularity, but our client wants to thank you himself. May I introduce Zen Guanbai?
Tiuna was most effusive in her praise of you, Desiree, and I simply had to put a face to the name. Thank you for your part in restoring the barding. Allow me to introduce the fine beast who will wear it.
Bleep. Amaro detected. Proximity too close for comfort. Uh-oh.
As you may know, we Zun once lived as nomads. In that hard life, Amaro contributed as much as any man to our collective survival, and we regarded them as family, raising them as we would our own children. Sadly, full many were lost to the flood, and so this day we lament our failure to save them. And to this day we lament our failure to save them. The barding you restored is an honored artifact. Since ancient times it has been tradition to bestow it upon the finest Amaro and its handler upon each turn of the seasons. It's our sole connection to our old way of life. By restoring it, you preserved an important part of our history, of our identity. I understand there are those who disapprove of what we'll do, but know that you have a complete and unequivocal approval of we Zun. On behalf of my people, I thank you.
There truly is no limit to the sentimental value an item can hold. I'm glad we could be of service to the Zun. And while it gives me heart to have their support, as Zen says, not everyone shares the sentiment. Oh, well, not least of all. Bleep, a feathered reptile, Amaro are known to spray water from their nostrils. Bzzzt. Water and notes do not mix. Tiuna now considers you a custodian of cherished memories. A new quest continuing the story is now available. Upon its completion, the deliveries list will update. Whatever shall I do? How long have you been standing there? I was so deep in thought I didn't notice you. You see, I've been pondering whether to speak with you about Owell, but you should appear at this moment as a sign. Please hear me. As you know, Owell and I were orphans taken in by Master Harrick. We were close friends, playing and arguing with one another in turn, and together we trained as artisans. But all that changed when Master Harrick disappeared. Young as we were then, we weren't told what became of him, but it's more than likely that, like so many others, he was slain by a sin-eater. From that time on, Owell and I drifted apart. Eventually we stopped speaking entirely. It was only when I announced my intention to open my shop that he had words for me, and they were none too kind. You don't understand anything, he spat out angrily. Well, he's right in one regard. I don't understand why he so detests my work. It goes beyond mere disapproval. He makes it personal, as if I've done something to offend him. This wouldn't be a problem, except Owell holds considerable influence at the Mean. A bad word from him and we could get no more custom. Sooner or later, I'll have to settle our differences, but the mere anticipation of it is nerve-wracking. What I wouldn't give for a stiff drink.
Bleep. Command received. Bloop. Instruction to Tiuna. Proceed to the wandering stairs.
I beg your pardon? Oh no. Noddy's going to summon Owell. Seems it's to be sooner than later. Might I ask you to join me at the wandering stairs? I could use your support. Owell isn't here yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come at all. Tiuna, so you're the urgent business I had to drop everything for. Huh?
Affirmative. Tiuna has a score to settle with you.
What was that? Nothing. Be quiet now, Noddy.
Force shutdown initiated.
There's something I need to ask you, Owell. Make it quick. Unlike you, I've got responsibilities. Alright, not everyone agrees with what I do. I understand that. What I don't understand is why you're so angry with me. You called me here just to ask me that? Urgent business indeed. How easy life must be when your days are filled with play. What we do isn't play. We restored those items that hold sentimental value for the people of the Crystarium. Listen well. Thanks to the efforts of our ancestors, we've come to enjoy a semblance of normal life. But shortages are still a daily reality. Shortages you do nothing to alleviate. In the time it took you to restore a single decrepit set of Amarabarding, I crafted a dozen new ones. With Master Harrick gone, it falls to me to prop up the Mean. It falls to me because Master had to go off to satisfy some vain obsession, and you had to take after him. Bleep. Note restart complete. Bloom. Resuming suspended operations. Owell not detected. Shall I fetch him? No, Noddy. Leave him be. I'm sorry you had to witness that, Desiree. Oh well, he didn't used to be that way. While I believe in what we do, I can't deny there's truth to his words, but... go off to satisfy an obsession? The day Master Harwick disappeared, he had to venture out to procure materials. The item he was seeking to restore was... Desiree, I hate to involve you in my personal dilemmas, but I need your help. Can I rely on you? I'm truly grateful. Let's return to the crystalline mean. I'll explain everything there. If Cherished Memories is to survive, we must do something to stem Owl's criticism. He's already done damage to our reputation, judging by the recent decline in business. We must win him over somehow. Convince him that Cherished Memories is a serious venture, make him see the true worth of restoration. With regards to the ladder, I have an idea. There is an item which, if restored, is bound to strum on Owl's heartstrings. But I'm at a loss as to how we might show him that we mean business. Keep the rust ball in check. Ignore the criticism and let our work speak for us. What if we could, but Owl holds too much influence. We have to do something to make him change his mind about us. Improve the workshop's appearance? Now that you mention it, our workshop doesn't have much to draw the eye. Perhaps there's something to be said for looking the part.
Bleep. In order to advertise their presence, shops commonly make use of signage. At present, Cherished Memories has none.
Of course, a sign! Why didn't I think of that? Desiree, would you be willing to fashion a sign for our workshop? In light of all the help you've given, it seems only right that you have the honor. Thank you very much. I can't wait to see the finished product. Oh, and if you run out of materials, Noddy will furnish you with more. Workshop sign. How fast we work on the sign? I can't wait to see it. Blessed night, what a magnificent sign this is! It incorporates all the techniques of our restoration work. A perfect representation of who we are. From the design to the details, everything about it is wonderful. Not only will this sign attract customers, it will serve to remind me of my goal to emulate your skills. I can't thank you enough for it. With this, we can finally show Orwell that we mean business. I'll see to hanging the sign up as soon as possible. It's bound to be the envy of the other artisans. All that remains then is to impress upon Orwell the true worth of restoration, on which front there's something I would show you. This loot was a gift from the XIV to Master Harwick. Since he left us, it has lain there, broken and silent. Apparently it was an enchanted instrument whose power had long faded, but its song was no less beautiful for it. Master would often play this lute at the tavern, and Owl and I would go and listen. Seeing how keen we were, he even gave us lessons. We loved the rich, soothing sound, and we went alone. Whenever Master Harwick played, the tavern was always full. No matter how rowdy the patrons were, as soon as the first chords were strummed, a hush would fall over the place. The music resonated with them, filling their hearts with peace in both good times and in bad.
Following Harwick's disappearance, however, the loot has been gathering dust.
Well, that's because no one could restore it properly, save Master himself. An instrument demands consummate skill. Back then it was completely beyond me. And even now, I don't feel equal to the task. But I must try. Master wouldn't want to see Owl and I quarreling. No, he'd want us to join hands and serve the Crustarium and her people. As it does for me, the loot holds fond memory for Owell. By restoring it, I'm hopeful we can reach out to him. That's why this time it's a personal request. I need your help to make this loot sing once more. Thank you. It gives me heart to have your support. I'll make ready for the restoration and let you know what I require. So, with regards to the loot. Following analysis, we determined the materials we require for the instrument's restoration. Well, as best we could at any rate. You see, being a gift from the Exarch, it likely hails from its mysterious homeland. As a result, it matches no loot from any culture or era I could find information on. Its shape is subtly different, as are some of the materials used. For this, we're having to make our best approximation.
It is unlikely to produce the desired blockage detect.
Right then, let's begin. As usual, I ask that you craft me the materials we need. Mark my word, Desiree, we'll succeed yet. We make Owell see the true worth of restoration.
Help me. Help.
Loot repair materials. In order to stabilize the material, we need this and... Ah, greetings! Oh my, the quality is amazing beyond words. It will be a pleasure to put this to use. My thanks, Desiree. Now we have all that we require to restore the loot. I've never attempted anything so difficult before. I must confess to feeling not a little nervous, but I will give it my honest best. With some luck, I'll have good tidings to share before long. Tiuna now considers you as savior of cherished memories. A new quest continuing the story is now available. Speak to Tiuna with level 80. The Notes of Bond Restoring. Oh, it's you, Desiree. If you wanted to ask about the loot, I'm afraid I don't have good news to share. What's up? I finished the restoration and the instrument looks exactly like it should. Knowing that the slightest warp in the panel can affect timber, I went to great pains to ensure that the shape is perfect. But in spite of this, the sound is all wrong. It's not because we have a superior hearing either. No, the difference will be apparent to any who've heard the loot, and definitely to Owell. I can only assume it's due to the material, but I don't know what else we can use.
Bzzz, bzzz. Bzzz. Hit me, Desiree. Hit me.
Preoccupied with her thoughts, Tiuna does not seem to notice that the note has encountered an error. Push the mystery button.
Beep. Applying updates. Do not turn off your node. This may take a while.
Whack.
Bleep bloop. Node restart complete. Bzzz. Thank you, Desiree. The answer lies in Harek's final destination. He went to Colusia to procure materials for the soundboard.
What? Colusia, you say?
Affirmative. There he intended to trade with the Ondo for the material which is found on the seafloor.
A material from the sea? That's what I believe it is? I may actually have some in my stores. I purchased it from an Ondo merchant thinking it might be useful. It didn't occur to me before, but it might just work. Could you please analyze it, Noddy? See if it's suitable for restoring the loot?
Bleep. Analyzing material. Bzzzt. Its composition closely resembled that which was originally used for the soundboard.
Wonderful. It's almost too fortuitous to be true, but I accept whatever help we can get. Desiree, I'm sorry to burden you yet again, but could you fashion a modification component using this material? We succeed this time. I know it. I'm sorry to burden you yet again, but I can't do this without your help. Please fashion for me the component. Oh, this looks promising. Yes, very promising indeed. I'll put it to use at once. It's finally done. Master Harek's loot precisely as it once was.
Bleep. Analyzing loot. Bzzzt. It is identical in both appearance and sound, with a margin of error of 1%. In other words, excellent work.
I don't know how to thank you, Desiree. I couldn't have restored the loot without your help. You're the finest artisan I know, and I count myself blessed to have had the privilege of handling your handiwork and growing from it. Now I realize that when we first met I said something to the effect of not asking you to teach me, but if you might indulge me one question, is there a tenet that you adhere to? Principles that guide you? Leatherworker. Weaver. Carpenter. Also from the guild, right? I understand your customers and genuinely wish for their happiness. I see. If we don't understand our customers, how can we best serve their interest? And in genuinely wishing for their happiness, we derive the greatest motivation of all. Thank you, Desiree. I carry these words with me in all that I do. Now then, it's time to present the loot to Orwell. Ideally, I'd like to meet him where Master often performed. The question is, will he come when asked? He was not too willing last time.
Bleep. Command received. Determining Orwell's location based on previous movements. Bloop. Instruction to Tiuna and Desiree. Proceed to the wandering stairs.
What? Now, wait just a... No time like a present, I suppose. As before, Desiree, I'd appreciate it if you could be there too. Come, let's get this over and done with. No sign of Owl yet. I swear, the wait is the worst part. Do something about this rust ball. It gave me a bloody lightning shock.
Lee, it was a minimal release of energy intended to encourage Owl's attendance.
I'm so sorry. It was just... There's something I wanted to show you. Master Harrick's loot. You fixed it? Not by myself. I had help from everyone at Cherished Memories. From Desiree and Noddy. This is fine work. Not even the slightest warp, and the ornamentation is immaculate. You've done well to restore this thing. But so what? Will it feed the people? Shield them from the cold? I didn't think so. If there's nothing else, I'm returning to work. I thought I heard a nostalgic sound. What should it turn out to be but Master Harrick's loot? Our customers. When my brother and I lost our parents, the music comforted us, lifted us up from the depths of sorrow.
After a hard day's work, there was nothing better than listening to these soothing notes while trading tales with my kin. It helped us to face another day with a smile.
I remember the day I met my husband in this tavern. It was Harrick's music that drew us here, and we might never have known each other otherwise. And yet our beautiful daughter. Master Harrick knew Owl. He knew how this loot could touch people's heart. And he felt it worth restoring in spite of a risk to obtain the material. Although Master's gone, his loot may still bring hope to those who live in despair and bind together those who are left behind.
Bleep, indeed, my former master, the Archmagus Noah, imbued the loot with a prayer of hope when she created it. Glory be to Allah, long may she endure.
The person who made this loot was your master? What an amazing coincidence. So it was Noah's loot, because like all artifacts of Alec, or all things of Alec, this too is a Final Fantasy III reference, and Noah's loot was an item from there. And recently the quest was removed, but there used to be a quest around the Crystal Tower in ARR, which was the weekly quest for the Crystal Tower raid, where a researcher from St. Koinak was possessed by the spirit of Noah, and you helped Noah out. It was weird because just allowing the possession to continue on doesn't seem very hero-like, right? But it never ended because it was a weekly. Yeah, and the quest is now removed, so I guess the researcher is free now. Alright, Tiuna, I understand now what it is you seek to do, and I accept that it's for the good of the people. I have a confession to make. The person who broke the loot, it was me. I remember watching Transfix as Master Harwick worked on it. The way he took the battered old thing and made it gleam again. It was simply magical. But when I picked it up to take a closer look, it slipped from my hands. I braced myself for Master Harwick's fury, but he wasn't angry in the slightest. There is no need to cry, he said with a smile. What is broken can be fixed. And then he set out and never returned. For I was but a boy then. I know full well that the loot served no practical purpose. It wasn't essential to our survival. The Fortman Master died in vain ate away at me. I hated myself for breaking the loot. And I hated the very idea of restoration. So that's the way of it. But you've opened my eyes. Master's work was important, I understand now. But we might have food to fill our bellies and a roof over our heads. What's it all worth if we don't have hope for the morrow? You have my gratitude, Desiree. Thanks to you, I've come to realize the importance of a bond we share. The loot has brought many people together. Perhaps one day it'll bless us orphans with families of our own too. Well, young ones, it seems to me that two of you already have family. Each other. Owl may have fooled you, Tiuna, but he doesn't fool me. It was out of concern for your safety that he opposed your venture. That is the very definition of brotherly love. I'm going back to work, but Tiuna, if you ever need help with anything, be it a component that you can't make yourself, you come straight to me. I won't have you die trying to do everything on your own.
Updating profile for Owell. Registering Tiuna as family.
Family. I suppose deep down I knew it was true, but to actually say the word? It's a little embarrassing, but not unpleasant. Come, my friend, let's return to the workshop. I'd like to thank you properly. Thanks to you, our workshop can continue doing its good work. I'm truly glad to have met you. Tell me, Desiree, do you think Master Harwick heard my playing as well? I'm sure. I'd like to think so too. And I like to think that he was happy to see Owen and I mend the rift between us. I do all I can to nurture our bond, and if something should cause it to break again...
When we hit it hard.
No, that only works for you, Noddy. I'll continue owning my skills, ever aspiring to reach your heights. And whatever the future is in store for Northrend, I'll continue doing my part to make it a better place, by keeping the people's cherished memories alive. And whenever I can, I'll go and play the lute at the tavern. As it did in Master Harwick's hands, its music can bring some comfort to the people once more. Forgive me, Desiree, I know you're a busy woman, so I won't keep you any longer, but promise to pay me a visit from time to time, alright? You'll find me right here, doing what I love doing best. You have completed all of Tiuna's tasks. She now considers you a restorer of her bonds. There may be other folk in the crystalline mine who could use assistance of a talented artisan. Ask around and see who is in need of your skills. Okay. And that was, yeah, the role quest for the handyworkers? I don't know how to call it properly. Anyway, with that, until next time, and when we play more Final Fantasy XIV, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.